Hello, everybody. Jeff Mason with SimpleBiz360 podcast coming to you from stlewispodcast.com. We're in Studio B in the basement today. Alex is on the boards in Chesterfield, Missouri, and we got a great show today. It's about delivering bad news to customers. And I'll tell you what, I started my day off with some bad news from a customer given to me. But you know what? It's a blessing in disguise. We'll jump into it later and we'll talk about it. But there's a listener that and viewer that watches this podcast that called in and said, hey, you've got to do a show about delivering bad news because it's just horrendous, all the different angles and schemes and things that I see out there. And I just lived through one. I have to share it with you. So actually, I thought about this episode previously. I had put together some characteristic types of what are the default mechanisms for handling bad news delivery to customers. And it just so happens that this particular feedback plays into about 3 of them. So let's just take a look at this. So the situation was there was a failure to execute a particular sample for a customer. And the customer was in much need of this sample and it got overlooked. Well, different echelons of management chimed in and you had all of a sudden all these different angles on what to do. And every one of the angles was a lie. Period, paragraph, can't shake it up anymore. It was basically saying, hey, let's fudge this a little bit. The other angle was to spin it completely. And the other angle was just to blame shift. So there's 3 things right there. When you have to deliver bad news, what's your default? Is it the truth or is it jumping into being a blame shifter, jumping into fudging the truth, jumping into kind of being sly and evasive and cryptic and you leave this information so they don't really understand it and then poof, you just disappear not to be found again? Or do you actually just, blatantly go out and, twist a tail? So, and I'll tell you what, I have seen this so much in my career. I have been a part of it early on in my career myself. And in about 1996, I called one of my employers or my employer at the time and said, you know what, I just can't do this little fudge sickle anymore. I can't just, give that white lie out there to try to cover up something that I've failed to do or we as a company failed to do. I'd just rather, smack the truth, smack dab in the kisser and, give it to the customer the way the customer deserves to hear it. Plus, it just didn't align with my beliefs at the time. I became a Christian and just, it didn't feel good fudging things. It didn't rest well with me. So, bingo, we changed gears in 1996 and I've been delivering customers the news they deserve to hear. And that's my encouragement today. Don't pick one of these other angles because you know what the end result was with this situation I got a call on today or I got a call on this week? Here's what it was. The person went out to the customer and just said flat out, hey, you know what? I dropped the ball. My fault. I'll get that to you as fast as I can. You know what the answer was? No problem. And here are 3 other attempts on the perimeter of this situation in this company that are, twisting everything up every which way. Which leads me to tell you, as you're going out there and doing business with your customers, as I'm doing business with my customers, we have to realize this. The BSing out there is so rampant that customers are kind of expecting to hear a twisted tale, and they really are. And it's just so casual for us to do that anymore. It really is. I mean, I'd have to say, I bet you 25%, maybe 20 to 25% of everything we hear from vendors is really a little bit of a fudge, if not a big, huge twisted tale. It just is, guys. That's no way to grow repeat business and referral customers. I found very shockingly that once I just started telling the truth, you know what the feedback was? It was, you know what? We needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. Now I can manage my affairs appropriately. Thank you very much, Jeff. Most vendors would have waited 5 months and then told me when it was, due for delivery and screwed me all up. So thank you very much. And time again, I have gone out there on a limb and handled the problems and the bad news straightforward like that, and bingo. Most of the time, it's so well appreciated, you have no idea. Which leads me to today. You know, I got to be honest. I chase feedback. I chase, different forms of different testimonials and things on speaking engagements, on my book, and so forth. And so I was chasing a testimonial, and I asked for one, and I got an answer today, and it absolutely shocked me. The answer was basically, you know what? I can't give you a testimonial, Jeff. I appreciate your time, but the content of the program was good, but it was scattered, it wasn't cohesive, and it just didn't come off well. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I called the office and said, this is phenomenal. This is exactly what I need to hear to make the next presentation that much better, to take it to the next level. We all need that kind of feedback, because we can't live in this bubble that says, we have everything all wired and we're a bag of chips and all that. We have to be realistic that the way to improve, the way to give our customers a higher level of satisfaction is by getting that honest feedback. And then in turn, not only should we be able to hear that honest feedback, we should be able to give it too. So I encourage you today, if you are not in the habit of giving honest feedback, just break the habit today, reboot today, go out there and start telling customers the truth. You're going to be shocked at some of the responses they give you. You might get a bad response here or there. I'm not saying you won't, but moreover than not, you will get a very positive response and a very big thank you from customers, because you're allowing them to manage the business the way they want to manage it, the way they need to manage it. We're all about customer satisfaction. I don't claim to have it all wired up here. I'm learning just like you are. But, I want to make sure that I leave you with this thought. Just be truthful. Don't lie. So many people, they pick it apart. They know it's a twisted tale as it's coming out of your mouth, and you may think you're getting over on it. We've talked about this before on other podcasts. You're not. And I've been in sales meetings too as a sales guy where, we start the national meeting of, hey, we all know that salespeople are a bunch of BSers, right? Everybody's high-fiving. I'm like, what? No, this is not the way it needs to be. So understand, a lot of people out there have an eyebrow up. A lot of people out there don't trust the information. Just be straightforward with it. And guess what? There's a silver lining here. When you don't lie and when you tell the truth, you don't ever have to worry about what you told the customer, because you told the customer the truth. Try it. So today, what we're going to do is I got a great Lost in the Shuffle track that kind of fits today, and it's my last of the Jersey bands. This band hails out of Bergenfield, New Jersey. They debuted this song in 1965. It hit number 20 in the charts, and it fooled a lot of people. It sounds very, very Beatlesque. It is the Knickerbockers with Lies. So you're going to see it up there in the corner, in the corner of our screen. The Knickerbockers, Lies. Try it out. It's a great song. It's got that, just get that British invasion feel, which I love that. Anyway, guys, the profitability is your sand crystals. They're little pennies, nickels, dimes. Hold on to them. Learn how to hold on to them. It's your money. Don't lose it. Keep making those customers happy. Tell them the truth. That'll make them happy, no matter what the circumstance is. Just go out on a limb and tell the truth, and you'll love it. And guys, if you're out there traveling, as we are starting to travel, please keep the shiny side up. Be safe and stay safe. We hope everybody's doing well in the midst of this pandemic, and we thank you for tuning in today. See you next week.